And hello there, my beautiful and lovely gamers. My name is Jonal. I actually wanted to make this for a while because I'm a little bit tired of some stuff that I hear from some Mercy players. And I've been coaching some very lovely support players that do play Mercy or main Mercy. Normally, I haven't really coached too many one-tricks of her, but I have coached a lot of people. And one of the big reasons, most people that I've been coaching never say stuff like this, because majority of the people that decide, hey, I want to hire a private coach, and I want to actually try to improve, so I'm going to hire Jonal. Most of them have an attitude where they don't really blame too much on their team. There are some, of course, there are always some exceptions that come in, and then I have to try to explain it to them. But this is how to carry as Mercy, because I hear way too many times people say like, oh, well, I'm just a Mercy player, so I can't deal DPS, so it's up to my team. If I just get a bad team, I just lost, and there's nothing I can do about it. And that's just for everyone. Everyone gets like, oh, it's a bad match. Like, I have had games where I get 3 kills, like every team fight, and still lose because my team dies and do bad decisions and whatnot. And I can play very, very nice, really, really good, but it's like I can't get more than 3 kills per fight. I cannot get 5, and since I couldn't get 5, that's kind of my own fault, but that's just how it goes. I lost that one, it was unlucky, and I try to improve. However, what I see too much happening is Mercy players are too easy on them, and a lot of people are too easy on Mercy players. They say, "Oh yeah, of course, you don't have it. You don't really do damage. You shouldn't whip out your pistol and do damage. You're resing people, you're healing people. So because you can't DPS, you're not in the same category as if an Ana is bad, because then it's mostly accuracy, of course, positioning, but accuracy and mechanics. If it's Nyala bad, it's again precision, but a lot of accuracy and so on for those players. And DPS, of course, is always about mechanics and so on. Now let's talk a little bit about that, because that is some of the worst shit I've ever heard. If you're a Mercy player, and this happened to most Mercy players, I have seen Master Mercy players struggling, and by Master I mean like they have 3.6k peak, and then they are in Diamond Master, right? In that range, I've seen like 2 to 3 people around that elo that doesn't damage boost properly, and especially gold and platinum players and so on, they don't damage boost. You don't utilize damage boost. Damage boost is your way of DPSing. They heal, and they heal everyone to full, and they're like, oh, my Ryan is 470 HP. I'm like, okay. Yeah, so I'm gonna heal him to max instead of damage boosting the Hanzo who just popped his rapid fire, or instead of damage boosting that Hog. It's like he doesn't need that amount of healing right now, especially in a situation where we're not properly, we're poking them down, we're weakening them and so on, but we don't need that healing right now. We have another healer with you. You can damage boost someone. You can use damage boost to apply pressure early fight, especially on stuff like King of the Hill. When we meet at both chokes, and we kind of meet both halfway, and it's about the first map control. Mercy players says, "Oh, I'm gonna heal everyone. I'm not gonna," even though it's not necessary. It's not necessary. You need to use your damage boost far more. You need to do a judgment call. Is he in low enough HP that he needs the healing right now, or can I not heal him right now and rather damage boost for like a couple of seconds or like a second or two and then heal him, and so on. I see a lot of they damage boost their Pharaoh players, and they sometimes damage boost the Widow, but that's very early in the defensive round, so on, the damage boost, and then they stop damage boosting and focus on just pocketing everyone, and they're running around with heal beams, so people with full HP, or healing people that doesn't need the healing right now, that can get healing from the Senjata or someone else. And if you're solo healing, it's a little bit different, but it's still very the same, that you need to use your damage boost whenever you can, because that is how you differ from everyone else, that you choose the right target to damage boost, because that gives you 30% damage on explicitly on everything. So in theory, you can get 30% damage on so many things that stacks up through the game, and does that. You can deal a lot of damage as a Mercy just by doing these damage boosters. Some of the other things I see is Mercies, they think really wrong when they do reses. They think, oh, I'm not gonna die, so I'm gonna fly and res this guy, right? They can't kill me, or I'm not gonna die here. Instead of thinking, okay, so I can't die, that's good, but what about my team? When I'm leaving, I have the glide time, then I have the res time, and I have the glide back time. Will my team need me to help with pressure by damage boosting? And that's what your damage boost does, is applies pressure, especially if you're damage boosting like a Hog or a Devo or a Genji or a Hanzo or a Kree or Soldier. Damage boosting for periods of time, Junkrats and so on, applies pressure, a lot of pressure to the front line of the enemy team. Also damage boosting your Reinhardt. Will my Ryan need healing? Is the enemy pushing? Are we taking too much pressure? Do I need to help relieve the main group from pressure? And a lot of time, the answer is yes. A lot of time I see mercies where they need to pocket and heal their tanks, they need to damage boost their tanks, they need to support their front line, the DPSs, and the other support player, and damage boost and help with pressure and sustain. And instead they say, hey, I'm gonna go and res that one, I'm gonna res that guy over there because they can't kill me. And the time that they're gone, the main tank is getting pushed back. The DPSs didn't get to do anything because they got low. The off tanks got low, and the second support, especially when they run two supports, because that's when mostly find a lot of liberty to try to res. The second support can't sustain everyone, especially if it's a Senjata, which is very, very good in Mercy combos. He can't sustain all of that, so instead he's leaving them. It's so stupid to see a lot of Mercy players do that with their reses, and on top of that, resing the wrong guy or resing targets that are not prioritized right now. So, for example, you know, resing Lucio when he doesn't have sound barrier and we don't need the speed boost, and you got this with the healing part, and then not helping out your team instead of going for a res on that Lucio, which you didn't really need to do. On top of that, we do see a lot of these stuff, especially with gliding, where Mercies glide really, really wrong, which is almost sad to think about because it's not that difficult. I see a lot of time. So imagine second point Gibraltar, and then imagine spaceship. A lot of I've seen this for a team I was coaching, an Italian organization I was coaching. I was watching a guy on tryout, and these guys were like 4.3, 4.4k or something. The Winston leapt up to spaceship. The Mercy flew with the D.Va. So the Winston and the D.Va went to up top spaceship. They were attacking to control spaceship. The enemy had their tanks up there, so it was like this neck and neck. The Winston D.Va versus the Winston D.Va. They were kind of poking and kind of seeing who could control each other. Our Mercy flies up, glides up into spaceship, glides up to the Winston, get hit by Tesla cannon, get pushed back by the D.Va, gets super low, and now needs to back up because now the Winston is like, oh, I can just push this, and if they engage the team when the Mercy is disengaging, our tank get pushed back because the Mercy got low and left, so they needed to drop. We lost control of a spaceship, got dived and lost because the Mercy didn't glide correctly. When instead he can glide and then he can float on the edges of spaceship, out of the range of the Winston, out of the range of the D.Va, doing that if they want to deal any engage damage, need to engage with a leap or a booster or push past my tanks. At that point, the Mercy can fly around or disengage and re-engage with full HP or pretty much full HP instead of floating into the enemy team. I see a lot of times that they glide past their tanks instead of stopping behind their tanks with good space. It's nice that we glide to our tanks, right, to get to them, but you need to be able to glide so that you create space between you and the enemy team. If there was enemies behind us, or if you need to land on spaceship else you would die, it's understandable, of course, that you would rather trade damage for the Winston than getting killed from behind. But in most of the time, I see a lot of people, and I said, even Grandmasters, gliding into damage and then flying out with low HP and then either getting picked or taking attention from the other support who now need to heal this Mercy who just took 120 damage, or setting up so you're easily killed. Maybe you need to play passive, maybe you need to back off, and then again, you're not damage pushing, you're not healing, or you're putting a lot of pressure onto the Senjata, and all of a sudden, you're behind your schedule of healing, right? The Senjata needs to heal you because you took unnecessary damage. Now you need to heal both the tanks and the DPSs, or else they die, so you heal the DPS up to a reasonable HP. Maybe you don't even max him up because you don't have time, so you heal him so he can't get one-shotted anymore, and then you try to fly back up to your tanks, and now all of a sudden you're working, you kind of earned a depth in HP, where you need to now do a lot of extra healing because the Senjata had to stop healing the DPSs for a time because you needed that sustain more than they did because you did have a faulty glide. I'm not saying that all Mercies are bad, and I'm not saying that Mercies aren't and especially support players aren't a class that aren't getting, you know, shit like every other class is. But I'm saying that Mercy, you can do so much more with a Mercy. There's a reason there are GMs and top 100 Mercy players that I know that so low Q and rank up. And Mercy mains, and they might play other stuff as well, but they don't rank up because they're getting boosted. It's not like, you know, the support players of the Overwatch League and from contenders and from, you know, 4 and top 100 that main Mercy and has Mercy as one of the most played heroes. It's not like they are up there because some lucky shit. It's because they actually know how to damage boost. They know how to heal. I have seen Mercy players, some amazing players that is like, okay, that heals DPS players up to a area after accordingly to what DPSs the enemy team has and how much damage they can do, so that you can't get one-shotted. And then they healed you up so you can't get one-shotted because we were losing, so our everyone was low. And then he pocketed our Pharah, so our Pharah, they had a Kree, so he pocketed the Pharah to 150 so that he can't get one-shotted with a headshot. and then he went immediately over again to heal up the Ryan. So the Ryan got like up to 350, went back, pocketed up the Pharah to max, went down, pocketed up the Ryan again. So they can nicely spread out their heals towards the enemy, where they know how much HP my players have, and they heal them up to a limit where it's like, okay, you're safe for now, you won't just die around the bullshit, and then they can pocket someone that's far more important, or someone so that we don't pocket up a Pharah, but our Ryan get pushed back and we lose a lot of space. That is stuff that makes Mercy players better than others, and that is stuff that I'm a little bit frustrated to see when I hear Mercy players say that it's not their fault, it's their team's fault, and a lot of people back it off because Mercy is Mercy, when that is not the case. When you can do so much more, and I see so many people not doing those things, and then come into forums or start essentially complaining. And for DPS players, a lot of them get a lot of shit for it. Tank players, a lot of them get shit for it. A lot of other support they get shit for it. But I see especially Mercy players having this stereotype that they can't do anything. So this is a little bit of a ramble. I hope that this video helps. I hope that this explains. I would like to hear your opinions down in the comment section below. I don't say that it's never your fault that you loses, but I'm saying that a lot of the time, if you lose, you can improve, and you can improve a lot, and you can carry as Mercy, and you probably experienced it even with the current nerfs and so on that happened after she was, after Mercy meta and so on. You can still do it. You just need to play correctly and a little bit more of a special way. Anyway, guys, I'm heading off now. I hope you guys have a lovely gaming experience. I love you guys very, very much. Please stay positive, take care of yourself. As always, guys, my name has been Jonal, and you, as always, please keep the enemy in the crosshair.